Welcome to Zimwaves TV Political Education Series, where we translate political nonsense into plain English and then hand you the tools to decode your own oppression. Last week we introduced to you the word Orwellian, and Zimbabwe didn't disappoint. It gave us a live demonstration. But today we move on to a word that explains why all those Orwellian tactics exist in the first place: kleptocracy. Now, let's be honest. Kleptocracy isn't just a word. It's a system, a lifestyle, a national identity at this point. The word comes from the Greek klepto, meaning to steal, and krasi, meaning rule. So yes, kleptocracy literally means rule by thieves. That's not shade. That's etymology. A kleptocracy is what happens when a country is run not by public servants, but by public parasites. And if Zimbabwe were a dictionary, kleptocracy would be printed right under the coat of arms. You see, in a functional democracy, politicians govern. In a kleptocracy, they loot. Schools, they are not places of learning. They are contracts to inflate. Hospitals, not for healing, just another tender for overpriced gloves. Roads, not for transport, just an excuse to award a cousin $1 million contract to fix a pothole with mud. Everything in a kleptocracy exists for one purpose only: extraction. From the budget, from the people, from the future, it's all extraction. Let's bring it home. In Zimbabwe, kleptocracy is not hidden. It is televised. It is celebrated. They loot on Tuesday and cut ribbons on Wednesday. They steal in US dollars and deny it in Shona. We are told the government is broke, but ministers are flying business class with briefcases full of bribe money. They say there is no forex for medicine, but there's plenty for SUVs, command agriculture, and first-class shopping sprees in Dubai. That's not governance. That's a mafia in a suit. And when you ask where the money went, they say sanctions. When you ask why clinics have no paracetamol, they say let us pray. When you ask how a man with no known job owns 10 properties in Borodale, they say he's a hustler. The only hustle happening is the one being pulled on you every single day in broad daylight with a police escort. Now, here's the trick of every good kleptocrat. They make sure you never realize you are being robbed. They tell you that patriotism means silence, that criticism is treason, that demanding accountability is a Western plot. They wrap the flag around your eyes while they reach into your pocket. They scream sovereignty while siphoning millions to offshore accounts. They quote liberation war slogans while selling out your future to the highest bidder. That, ladies and gentlemen, is advanced level kleptocracy. Let's talk numbers. How do you explain a country where over $10 million is spent on independence celebrations, but nurses have to bring their own gloves to work? How do you explain a civil service so broke it can't pay teachers, but so bloated it can afford hundreds of ghost workers? Where is the money going? It's not a riddle. It's a heist. And the getaway car has number plates that read Zim1. And don't be fooled. Kleptocracy isn't just about money. It's about power. Power to silence dissent. Power to manipulate elections. Power to arrest opposition leaders for tweeting. Power to lock up citizens for protesting against corruption, while the corrupt host fundraising dinners with ambassadors. In a kleptocracy, law is not justice. It's just another tool for protecting the loot. Remember the gold mafia expose? The laundry list of names, banks, shell companies. That was not fiction. That was the user manual of how a kleptocracy launders your national wealth and calls it entrepreneurship. And what happened after the expose? Nothing. Because in a kleptocracy, exposing corruption is less effective than a prayer for rainfall during a cyclone. And it gets darker. Kleptocracies don't just steal money, they steal dreams. They steal hope. They steal generations. When a graduate with a degree in biotechnology is selling tomatoes at Mbare Musika while a politician's son owns a fleet of Range Rovers, that's not just unfair. That's economic terrorism. That's what happens when the state becomes a syndicate, when elections become auditions for looting rights, when ministries are awarded not by merit but by loyalty to the chief thief. So what does this mean for you? It means that every pothole is a monument to stolen road funds. Every power cut is a receipt for a looted energy budget. Every expired drug at your clinic is a signature on the contract of betrayal. Every queue at the passport office is evidence of a system that has collapsed under the weight of its own greed. And yet, the same people return to power again and again with new slogans, new manifestos, and the same old fingers in the cookie jar. Because in kleptocracy, elections are not contests, they are illusions, a performance. The real business is done behind closed doors, in briefcases, in ministries, in the Reserve Bank, and on encrypted WhatsApp chats. So next time someone says kleptocracy, don't look confused. Just smile and say, you mean Zimbabwe? Because we are the blueprint, the workshop, the international case study. We export nothing, but we import corruption with no customs duty. And if you think it's going to change on its own, think again. Kleptocracies don't collapse. They must be confronted. Not with slogans, but with action. Not with hashtags, but with hard truths. And the first step is education, political education. Because a citizen who understands the game can no longer be played. So, to sum up today's episode, the word we are looking at is kleptocracy. And the definition of kleptocracy is a government run by thieves. Literally. It comes from the word klepto, to steal, and krasi, to rule. So, rule by thieves. In such a system, public resources aren't for the people, they are for the politically connected. Everything exists to enrich those in power. Roads aren't built unless there is a tender to inflate. Hospitals don't get medicine unless someone profits from the procurement. A kleptocracy is what happens when you give a pickpocket a whole national budget. In Zimbabwe, the line between public service and private enrichment is as blurry as ZEC's election results. We've got ministers with mansions, MPs with million-dollar side hustles, and government projects that vanish like ghost voters in Bikita. We don't have governance. We have glorified looting with a flag. It's not a cabinet, it's a cartel. And the people, they are just customers in the world's most expensive poverty scheme. So, welcome to episode 2. Welcome to the debriefing they never wanted you to attend. Welcome to the language of your oppression, translated, decoded, and weaponized. This is Zimwaves TV, We don't beg politicians, we expose them. Hit that subscribe button before they cut the internet, because in a kleptocracy, the truth is revolutionary.